The ministerial committee constituted by the president to assess the level of devastation as a result of the Akosombo Dam Spillage has assured that government is seeking some funding from the World Bank and other climate-related agencies globally in order to respond to the restoration of affected structures in these areas. Now, addressing the press, the Chief of Staff, Akosombo indicated that aside government's 220 million Ghana Citi budget allocation to deal with the situation in the 2024 budget, all will be done to ensure the over 25,000 victims are restored to their livelihoods. Fred Duho has more in this report.
The Interministerial Committee tasked with assessing the impact of floods caused by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam in 8 districts has assured that no victim will be left behind. The Chief of Staff, who also doubles as the chairperson of the committee, stated that the government has made 40 million Ghana cedis available for relief efforts to be utilized by NADMO and VRA. As announced by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in the 2024 budget, the government has committed 220 million Ghana cedis to support relief efforts for over 25,000 victims.
As announced by the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, during the reading of the 2024 budget and economic policy of government on the floor of Parliament, government has budgeted an amount of 220 million Ghana cedis to support the relief phase for communities affected by the Akosombo Dam Spillage, as well as floods upstream in Oti, Savannah, and Bono East regions.
Efforts are underway to access funds from the World Bank and other climate agencies to help restore affected infrastructures in the areas.
Steps are being taken to secure additional funding from the World Bank and international climate-related resources to support affected communities.
The Minister for Education noted that over 42,000 students and 1,061 teachers were affected by the spillage. He categorically stated that only 2 cycle institutions were affected. In the case of the Komboni Vocational Institute in the Southtown District, he made mention that the ministry has taken stock of the damaged equipments and all will be replaced. A new reopening date has been offered to students at the St. Kizito Secondary School in the Northtown District, which serves as a safe haven for over 9,000 affected victims.
So Komboni is doing well. The same cannot be said about St. Kizito. In the case of St. Kizito, it was not directly affected by the spillage, except that the school became a safe haven. So the community have taken over the school. The assessment we did was that by the end of the week, we may get the community at a better location or safer place or back to their homes, and then St. Kizito can then open. So we have postponed school reopening for St. Kizito, which is a high school at Mepe.
The executive director of the Volta River Authority sympathized with all affected victims while reassuring affected residents of leaving no one behind in their livelihood restoration initiatives. He, however, noted that the spill gates were closed 3 weeks ago.
We are determined that under the current circumstances, no one will be left behind. No one will be alone. And that's what we are vowed to do. We closed the spillway gates on 30th October 2023, just about 3 weeks ago. And since then, together with NADMO, we continue to provide relief items to our compatriots who live upstream and downstream of the Akosombo Dam.
The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, provided updates on what has been done and will continue to be done in the affected areas. The Deputy Executive Director, Seji Saji, revealed that some victims are already returning home after some assessments of their structures.
As we speak, quite a considerable number of the affected persons have returned to their homes. But they didn't just go to their homes. We had to, with the support of the assemblies and VRA, carry out some fumigation of their homes before they went there.
Meanwhile, the Water Resource Commission has warned affected residents to be circumspect in treating their water before use to avoid any possible infections. The Executive Director, Dr. Bob Alpha, provided some details.
Water from the supply schemes and hand pumps and boreholes should be treated before use. Government has provided chlorine tablets which can disinfect the bacteria that we have found. We also encourage that if you can boil the water before use, that will take care of the bacteria that we have found in the water. Alternatively, locally manufactured clean filters would be supplied to filter the bacteria before use if you cannot boil the water.
The Ministry of Health has also noted that no serious disease outbreak has been recorded yet, but all measures are being taken to ensure that health facilities in affected areas are equipped to tackle any future incidents.
In as much as we are trying to prevent outbreaks, we can still have the outbreak. So we try to earmark what they call treatment centers. So if you get a case of cholera, how to manage it. So that's what we are trying to do. And we actually oriented our health staff. We're going to do more training to see how they can manage the case if it's your care. We're going to pre-position a lot of the IV fluids, 541, and the rest. Like what you want to do is that if you get the outbreak, we shouldn't get mortality. We shouldn't get any death. So that's what we're trying to look at.